Hi, this is Barbara, the hippie homesteader wannabe. By the way, can you see my fair Ophelia looking out the window back there? Um, anyway, I missed day 4 getting a video up for Veganuary, so I'm going to do a quick wrap up of what I've eaten for the first 4 days and kind of where my head's at on some of that. Done good, done good. Okay, and remember I'm counting calories too, so for what it's worth. So day 1, we had, creamer, coffee creamer. Let's talk about that. I'm measuring my coffee creamer, and there's 10 calories in a teaspoon of good old Walmart, cheap, big. There are 500 servings. If you only have a teaspoon at a time, 500 cups of coffee you can cream with this, if you can get by with just a teaspoon. Which I have been trying to do, and it's actually quite satisfactory. But it's not technically vegan, because if you read the ingredients down here, you'll see there is a milk derivative. But the way I look at it, I mean, are we really going to argue over that? Because it's a huge amount. You're only taking a little bit. I mean, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but I have found a way to eliminate it, and that is by drinking black coffee, which I used to drink my coffee black, and just why not? There is one other alternative I had on hand, which I'll show you. This is a coconut milk powder that I'm not real sure where I got this. I think it was a VitaCost freebie or a deal, a real special deal that I couldn't refuse, where they like gave 2 for the price of 1, and it was reduced, and I thought it might come in handy in the future, especially for Veganuary, because it gives me a shelf-stable milk powder. If I buy milk in cartons and it sits in the refrigerator, a lot of times I don't use it up before it goes bad. So, but now the bad thing about this stuff, 1 tablespoon, 60 calories. So, and it tastes good. It made the coffee taste real good, but it doesn't make it very light looking. So if that matters, which of course it doesn't, but it tasted okay. But 60 calories is a lot, and maybe not calories I wanted to use that way. So I did do that some, but I've also made it just been drinking it black. And I don't drink that much coffee. I'm actually trying to reduce that a little bit too, to kind of cut the caffeine back. Tofu Scramble. Cheap Lazy Vegan. She's the YouTuber you want to watch. But one of her hacks, she calls it a hack, is to mix up all the things you want to put in a scrambled tofu and keep it in a little shaker jar or a jar, so that you've got it on hand where you can add it to your tofu quickly. One of the simplest vegan dishes there is. And so anyway, I had tofu scramble and half cup of brown rice and the coffee, another cup of coffee with the coconut creamer. This is all day 1. To lunch. Actually, I'm finding that my calorie count, it works really well if it kind of falls into 4 different sort of little mini meals. Not mini, but like a breakfast, a lunch, a kind of an early dinner, and kind of a late supper that's sort of like a bedtime snack, which, I'm not even going to try the, what they call it, the intermittent fasting. Not at this point. We'll see in the future. Looking for something sustainable that can take me through 2021 and beyond, Okay, I'm back. This is the kind I used. And if you can, where's the calorie count? There's only 70 in one of these patties. If you've never had these, they're packaged inside in little 2-packs. And anyway, they're just a little frozen burger. They're quite tasty. But you do have to read the labels because some of the Baca brand do contain a little bit of cheese or eggs down. So I had one of those patties just on the plate with a little bit of ketchup on it and a half a steamed potato. Okay, butter. Let's talk about butter. I put vegan butter in parentheses because what I actually used was Tub Blue Bonnet. And if you read the label, nice thing about these tub margarines is they're low on calories. And you can even get lower ones than this. This is the regular, and it says, let's see, does it say no trans fats? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Well, it does matter, but okay. If you could read the labels, which I'm not going to hold it that close, but there's nothing about milk derivatives here at all. So technically it's not labeled vegan, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't call that vegan. So anyway, I had a tablespoon of that on my little potato. And then more bean spread saltines. I want to talk about them a minute. Okay, I like to snack in the evenings while I'm watching. My last little thing is I like to watch a few old TV shows. And I watch Green Acres and Gomer Pyle. And I like to have something to snack on. Well, potato chips are, horrible. And they're expensive, like $3 for a big old bag. And if you sit down with it, you're going to wind up eating most of it at one setting. So I have subbed them out. I've done this like for a while now, like probably most of 2020. I was using just the cheapest saltines I could get. They are, whoops, I don't know if I opened that. Anyway, it's upside down. 70 calories in 5. Anyway, when I did the math, I figured it took about 8 of them to make 100. I may be off a few calories on that. But anyway, what I used to do before I started calorie counting is I'd sit down with one of these, which, this is only a fourth of the box. And we're talking about like 77 cents or maybe as much as $1.09. Depending on where you go. If you can't find a real cheap store, it might be $1.50, but that's still pretty cheap for this size. And so what I used to do is I'd sit with one of these, and when I was getting down like pretty close to the end, I'd think, uh-oh, I've almost eaten that whole sleeve. And so I'd save that last 2 or 3 crackers for later. But so what I did is I took individual baggies and put 8 in each one. And so now my little night routine is to grab one of my little packages of 8 saltines. That's 100 calories. And I can dip it into bean spread. So that was actually kind of a big nightly little stuff. What I'm using is I'm making up a whole one of these, and I'll try to eat half of it at one session and then half of it at another time. Calories on that, 45 in what they say is about 4 servings. So that means there are 180 calories in the whole thing. So anyway, I like my tofu. So I had, that was, and then lunch. I pulled out I had the big pot of beans and the big pot of rice, and I wanted to start using those up. By the way, on rice, Dr. Michael Greger has been posting some stuff about how there is arsenic in some rice. So you have to be aware of that. And so I'm trying not to eat brown rice every single day. I had already cooked the big pot of rice. So anyway, 3/4 cup of think that's all the foods I wanted to talk about. I did want to show you, I mentioned Dr. Michael Greger. I find him very interesting to listen to as far as vegan nutrition. He seems to have like his head on right. And he has an app you can put on your phone, and it's free. And it's called The Daily Dozen. So anyway, this is how it looks. He lists off the things. Now, see, I use this as kind of a rule of thumb, which I'm not hitting all my daily dozen, but it'd really be cool if a person did. So anyway, that's kind of a goal of mine, and you can just check these off as you get them. But beans, berries, of which that's why I did the berries in the smoothie, is because I knew I hadn't done berries yet in like several days. Cruciferous vegetables, that's easy for me. That's my favorite thing to eat. Greens, and cabbage is nice because it kind of counts as both. So does kale. It's greens, but it's also a cruciferous. And there's probably some others. Bok choy. I don't know. There's some others. Other vegetables, flax seed. So I'm trying to remember, okay, stick a tablespoon of flax seed every once in a while. It's a little caloric, of course. Nuts and seeds, that's why the tahini, that's a little caloric too. But herbs and spices, turmeric, and your other things like that. Whole grains, good on that one. Beverages, water or tea or whatever. Then I've been drinking a lot of water. And then exercise and B12 are both on here. And I usually take vitamins and get my B12. Exercise, we'll talk about that in another video. But I think that's about everything. Ooh, I wanted this to be short, and it's 11 minutes. Anyway, let's let this count for day 4 and day 5. Doing good. And I'll talk more about weight loss, some of my inspirations, some YouTubers I like, channels that have been real inspirational to me, and some other things. So, yeah, let's wrap this up. See you next time. Peace out.